So good morning, good afternoon, good evening to every of you. And thank you very much for joining us from very, very different parts of the world, of course, starting by the Caribbean, but elsewhere as well. I'm Isolina BOTO from COLEAD. I'm the coordinator of this activity with my colleague from IICA, Allister GLEAN, who you see in camera and you know well as well. So without a major delay, we start our 10th session organized by COLEAD and IICA on this time, the Agri-Food Business Series for the Caribbean. And this time, a very exciting actually topic about successful entrepreneurs, local entrepreneurs from the Caribbean, SMEs and other forms in packaging and labeling, a very, very important, of course, topic for any entrepreneur, a bit in fresh, but more importantly on processed foods as well. So we will have a very exciting presenters today. We will start by the entrepreneurs panel, and we follow up by some of the organizations that support the entrepreneurs, a bit the ecosystem, and then we will have a Q&A and some concluding remarks. We start now by some introductory remarks by Jeremy KNOPS from our side, from COLEAD. He will tell you 2 words about our organization, but more importantly, about the topic itself. And of course, we are an association of private sector operators. That's why the collaboration with IICA is very complementary. And that's why we are very much as well interested in featuring entrepreneurs, successful entrepreneurs, but also helping them in their growth. And that's what we do with IICA, with other activities jointly or separately in support of the entrepreneurs. Jeremy, if you want to bring quickly a few remarks. For all of you, you know already that we do this session in English, French, Portuguese and Spanish. It happens that today all our speakers are English speaking, but you can have your interpretation choosing in the globe down in your screen. And the session is recorded as well and will be shared, of course, afterwards. And we don't open for the floor for the participants, but you can contribute as always very actively through the chat. Please, Jeremy.
Thank you very much, Isolina, and welcome to this 10th Agri-Food Caribbean series. And good morning, good afternoon, good evening from wherever you are connected. It's a pleasure to be with you today. But first, I would like to thank, of course, fellow panelists for taking the time to share their stories, experiences, knowledge on this important topic with us today. I would like, of course, to thank already all participants for being with us from all over the world, and of course to thank IICA for our continued fruitful collaboration. Now on today's topic, I think it was pretty obvious that packaging and labeling are not just there for aesthetics reasons. They are becoming increasingly strategic tools for a number of reasons that have been briefly summarized in the program information document that was circulated. And just to name a couple of these areas, of course, we have the element of product differentiation, branding, information communication, of course, about the product characteristics. So that would be a first group where of course packaging and labeling play an important role. Then we have a second area where we could qualify it more in terms of the compliance part, being on traceability, but also on quality assurance, on the overall, I would say, regulatory compliance package, where there are some very specific sets of rules today to comply with from a market access perspective, to ensure consumer safety and more. Then we have, of course, another range of elements around the importance of say more packaging in itself when it comes to logistics, and we know how strategic that as a topic is within today's value chains. And last but not least, and maybe first and foremost, around sustainability. We know that packaging in itself is an important element if we look at the environmental footprint of products, but it also through the labeling an opportunity to share some crucial information that goes beyond the nutrition and I would say more traditional aspects of the product, but really on some of the key aspects in terms of sustainability performance. So this is just to name a couple of these strategic areas around sustainability, around packaging and labeling, because we recognize that, of course, more investment, more innovation, more information, more knowledge are needed for MSMEs on these on this area to improve their overall competitiveness, sustainability, to improve their market access, market positioning, and of course, without jeopardizing the safety of the product. Now, as Isolina said, COLEAD, we are a private sector not-for-profit association, and we strive through support programs such as Fit for Market Plus, but also Agrinfo, which are funded by the EU and the Organization of ACP states, to intensify our support in this area. And I'm just going to name three areas that we work on. First of all, through programs such as Agrinfo, we're sharing information on a regular basis about all the regulatory changes taking place on labeling and packaging, on the EU regulatory changes taking place around labeling and packaging for all types of agri-food products. So this is available through our agrinfo.eu platform. The second area is by monitoring, of course, market trends, new solutions, innovations that are taking place. And we communicate this mainly through our market studies and market profiles, which are also available through our online library. And last but not least, of course, through the direct support that we can provide to MSMEs in their marketing strategies and overall access to markets by providing direct technical assistance and on-site training activities. So I'm not going to be much longer, because I think we are all waiting to hear from the experiences from entrepreneurs and to listen to also the fellow support programs, but also to the following discussions. So I wish you all an interesting, fruitful session. I'll be looking forward to listening to all of you. Thank you, and back to you, Isolina.
Thank you very much. We will be sharing some of the resources from IICA and COLEAD, of course, that can support each part of the packaging and labeling of the enterprises. That would be very, very helpful to you. And we will also put it when we share the PowerPoint in the following email with the PowerPoints, and the recording of the session. So without major delay, we welcome our first speaker, who is Hesma. So Hesma TYSON from Trinidad and Tobago. She's the managing director and founder of the Caribbean Specialty Foods Company. She has a track record of involvement and work on the food processing part, which is where we want also to move and to help to grow the SMEs and entrepreneurs to have more value, of course, and be up in the value chain. She founded the company limited to make hot sauces without artificial ingredients, and also to take it to the world. She invested a lot on research and development. She will tell us a bit more about that. And of course, on training in food technology, which is critical for any entrepreneur. In 2019, the company trademarked the brand name Caribbean Foods, and Hesma became an Ernst & Young Entrepreneur of the Year in the emerging category. She's very active, attending many expos and many business gatherings and so on. What you should all do, working very closely with our colleagues as well at ITC that support entrepreneurs. And she's also a mentor for the youth, and that's something we like very much from IICA and COLEAD, because of course we have programs in support of young entrepreneurs, which is a critical part as well. So please, Hesma, thank you very much for joining us, and thank you in advance for sharing as well your success.
Thank you very much. Axel, I am Caribbean Specialty Foods. So I needed to share my slide. Thank you very much. So without much ado, as my name is Hesma, I'm the founder and managing director of Caribbean Specialty Foods. We were formed in 1995, but actually we registered the company in 2008 because within that time, I was still working, still had a family to take care of, and so I couldn't devote the entire time to it. But within that period, I kept always looking to see what's happening in that industry. So when I first embarked on it in 95, I got a lot of resistance from people who were saying that you must become artificial to make hot sauces. And I went to all of the people who would know, but they were telling me something I felt, while I didn't have the experience, I felt I needed somehow this could be done. It took many years, as I say. It took 3 years. Lots of failure in between. Product will explode, it will run, it will do all manner of things. But after the 3 years, the technology, it was broken. I found it. And that technology I now use to branch off into other things, right? And I always did not like the idea of anything frozen and things like that. So it had to have been shelf stable. So that's where the whole thing about it not being able to work. But my thing is that even though my product is natural without artificial colors, preservatives, flavorings, I do get a year shelf life and sometimes even more, and it goes on the shelf. In the beginning, the color of the supermarkets caused without the food coloring to fade. But I eventually did more research and came up with natural food colorings. So the product stays natural, right? As she said, I became in 2019 a finalist. That's when I think I started to bloom in 2019 because I was living away at the time as well too, so I couldn't fully energize the entire thing. However, that when I came back, I felt there was a urgency now to go forward because while I was away, I was crafting now the dips line. And when I came back in 2019, I was so excited and to see the response from people into 2020, how these things were selling, and COVID came. COVID have the upside and the downside, I always say, for our business. It practically shut down our business for close to 7 to 8 months. Not because the country wasn't open to food production, but because glass packaging was no longer available, right? And we went off. We had to start thinking, if something happens again, will we be in this position? We had to move off from this dependence upon glass because there was all the glass bottles were coming from China. The distributor had to import them and he too was stuck as well. So I started playing around with pouches. I got some pouches from a local company and I started playing around with them, looking to see how the product would stand up, looking to see how it will take to the various technologies that we do. It worked, but I know that it had to come to a higher level than what is being provided locally. We have specific things, our product cannot be compromised. So if I'm going from glass bottles, I know that I have to be able to give people that same flavor, that same quality to be able to look pretty, stand up on the shelf. And I approached China to be able to. It took about 6 to 8 months for us to go back and forth testing it. going through all the parameters, seeing how it will look standing up, trying to accommodate. It was not designing, how will we design? It wasn't easy, but I can tell you now it was worth it, right? Another thing too is in 2020, the government opened the Moruga Agro-Processing Park. And in 2021, the company was able to relocate to that park. Now, this park, Agro-Processing Park, is the only one in the Caribbean dedicated to food production. We have many industrial parks in Trinidad and Tobago. However, this is the only one that is dedicated to food production. So you wouldn't find someone with tires, making tires, dealing with cabinet, anything that could compromise. I will call it a vegan park because you can't even process meat in that park. And so all this happened within COVID. And in 2021, we moved from our kitchen to 13,000 square feet space in Moruga. In 2021, we also received funding from the government of Trinidad and Tobago, grant funding to purchase the equipment, to be able to do the pouches. And I mean, when I look at this picture here in Moruga, I am telling you, I came from a kitchen directly into this. There was no, okay, come to a little smaller place. I went from my kitchen, nice as it was, to this. It was not daunting to me because this is what I always wanted. What I didn't get was a little more guidance in coming from that to that. So while I got the equipment, IICA was really there to help me in terms of Dr. Harina Nan, Diane Francis, and they giving me all the NAMDEFCO, giving me all the guidance. I needed to get a little more guidance in terms of moving from that space. But we were able to navigate and come through a lot of challenges that this space. One of them was that the equipment we bought, the person promised us one thing, so there was a lot of money, but that was wasted. And it didn't. So we had, and you know what I said back, I say, this is not common to me alone. Other people go through this. They don't close down shop. They don't say, well, you know what? I'm not coming back here again. Yeah, what they do? They navigate. They try to see how they could go about making what they have do. There were other challenges with the building, but I used to say I had nothing before. So so everybody else in the park was complaining. I was just seeing opportunity. I look around at Moruga. Moruga is an international name, so I don't have to go and sell that too much. So I was just seeing, I look around at the greenery of this place, protected woodlands. I am a natural product. I can sell. This will help me sell my product more. So I know this is about packaging and labeling, but I just wanted to get into this part about it. So the packaging now, I am very proud of what it is today. I think we may have pictures on it. These are the packaging. So the bottles are pretty. I love the glass jars. But this is what the packaging looks now like. When it first came to Trinidad, tears came to my eyes. When it actually got full, when I'm seeing it now on the shelves, I'm saying this was worth it, right? Oh, I'm sorry. I didn't tell you about my products. I'm sorry. Now, as you see here, we make various hot sauces, all using local fruits and vegetables. And then the dips, we like unique things. We like things that nobody else making. You Google us now, we're the only person making a rum-flavored hot sauce. We like the challenges of combining tamarind and mango. So people's minds are intrigued. How is this going to taste? Is it going to be too sour? Is it going to be too sweet? And then when they taste it and they savor it, it all comes down into what they thought it would be. what also to our products in terms of the dips. It's not only for snacking, you can also use it for cooking. So we have recipes, QR code. It enable us to do things that we were limited to me with the glass bottles, right? Also too, our products stand for itself with freshness. That's the first thing people come out when they were tasting the glass bottles. When they taste it in the packaging, they get the same thing. It is fresh. They conjure up all kind of things that I wasn't even thinking about that they're using it for or what they can use it for. And I'm really proud, I'm really pleased to see the engagement of people with the dips. Then we go now to the labeling. The labeling part we had to update as of last week, 2 weeks ago, when our nutrition facts, we realized that the nutrition facts requirement by the US FDA changed again. And I wasn't aware of that. So as we are in the process of printing new labels, new packaging, we have done the updated nutritional facts. These things cost a lot of money. We have been self-funded for many years. One other thing too, all of our products are approved by the US FDA for export to the US, whether in bottled format or in pouch format. All self-funded, all self-taught by us. Going forward, we have a vision because of the packs, the pouches now. It's lighter to ship, shipping costs. The actually price point we're making some serious inroads into the local market because of the price point. What we see now is that this product can be easily exported, not only to Trinidad and Tobago, the CARICOM US. We're looking at South, going to Africa. You see, I've done some research and Africa likes pepper. I don't think it should be a hard sell. And I am using my knowledge and, let's put it this way. We have a GMP manual in our company. We are on the way to getting HACCP. So I am going out there to ensure that when I send my product, I'm not keeping that knowledge only because I want to go to EU, but because you know what? I think your market is also very important too for me to do that. So here what I'm going to do now. I am going to ensure that even the hot sauces come into pouches. That bottle problem is raising its head once again, and we are having problems. But we can't do it alone again. It was really difficult. So we would desire some measure of grant funding or something to be able to take us this next level, because this involves designing, packaging, nutritional facts. A lot of the things that we did to get to here, we would really appreciate that. So in summary, I say, let entrepreneurs, we are not dinosaurs. We are flexible, we can move, we can pivot. Don't let the things of the past, COVID, or the things to come, which there'll probably be more. You have to navigate. Crisis makes us stronger, right? I want us to be able to continue to help. As I say, the road to the mountain, very, very rocky. But as I keep going up forward, it means that I'm clearing the pathway for others to come. Less rocks for other entrepreneurs. So our motto is, and we continue to go with it, making food taste better naturally. And we want to take that to the world. Thank you. And I'm willing to hear more stories myself.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Hesma. You would see already, actually, in the chat, many compliments it's a very indeed nice marketing, nice packaging, very, very attractive. You certainly are a very, very good marketer as well. Very convincing, but very nice products. You have a couple of questions which are more bilateral. Where are you? But we can come back as well on the other questions in the Q&A part. So I give now the floor to, thank you very much again for highlighting the entrepreneur path, and especially that nothing is difficult, even when you see the company in the height of its success. Entrepreneurs have been through big challenges, and your message of not discouraging, I mean, yourself is a very inspiring. So thank you again. Now the floor is to Onel Williams. Now we go to Jamaica in the Caribbean. You will see indeed that we have among the participants many colleagues from different continents and from Africa as well. And you know that there is more and more trade between the Caribbean and Africa, hopefully. So I'm sure that Hesma will make some contacts there. And Onel is really a food innovator, entrepreneur, marketer as well. He owns the company Essential Goods and Services Trading Limited. He focuses on niche that are coming actually even in Europe, bigger and bigger niche suppliers, and bringing the products to the supermarkets. He founded Nella Tendaronis after recognizing a gap in the local vegan food markets, as the consumers were prevented from buying breadfruit flour and sweet potato flour. And then he created a very attractive vegan pasta, a new value-added product that, of course, is trying now to scale, and with great success, as it caught the attention of Godard Enterprises Limited, with a very large conglomerate in the region, over 23 countries in the Caribbean and elsewhere in the American continent. So he will tell us a bit more of this incredible success, and he has also received the entrepreneurial mentoring from Godard, CEO. And we want to repeat again from an experience at COLEAD as well as IICA and others, that this mentoring or supporting at any, at different parts of your entrepreneurship path is critical. So Onel, the floor is yours, please, in 10 minutes. Thank you. Axel will put you PowerPoint.
Okay.
And I'm looking forward to find them in Brussels. Yes.
Right. Thank you so much, guys. I'm going to also turn off my video now, just in case I think the reception is a bit too slow. That's okay.
Very okay.
Okay. Hi, good morning, one and all. Thank you for the opportunity, and I'm here to speak about Nella's Foods. Give kudos to Miss Hesma. I enjoyed your story as well, and I'm hoping to share some of my experiences as well. So yes, you can go ahead, Alex. So yes, guys, so real quickly, my name is Onel Williams, first of all, and I am the founder of a company called Nella's Foods. And we were basically founded around 2017 officially. We are involved in food manufacturing. And yes, we are involved in the very popular manufacturing and, value add upping of, local indigenous crops such as sweet potato, cassava, and breadfruit. But we take a different approach to it. We basically wanted to encapsulate or like a meaning that defined what we did. And as you can see, it says here, we are a dynamic Jamaican startup food brand, heaven-bent on rethinking traditional food options and then reimagining them into super value-added food products made from homegrown indigenous Caribbean food ingredients. So in simpler terms, we want to kind of basically take these unsexy food items, when you go in the farms, the cassava, the sweet potato, and others like that. We basically want to take those ingredients and those food products, brush them off, wash them off, dust them up, convert them into some great looking products through innovation, and present them to the world on a very large, on a very premium scale at an affordable cost. I know those two words are conflicting, but that is the idea. So yes, that is our ethos. Next slide, Alec. And as mentioned before, so I created my product. One of the products I created, it was entered for the Jamaica Food Observer newspaper. They have a food award program out here. I was awarded the best new product in 2021. I was nominated for Breakthrough Product of the Year as a nominee to our local Jamaica Manufacturing Export Association. And as mentioned before, again, I was given a grant award by the Goddard Enterprise Limited, which is inclusive of a cash grant and a mentoring program, which I am currently still on. And I've been using those experiences to kind of, to strategize my move going forward, coming the end of this year and into next year. Next slide, Alec. All right. So basically, like I said to you before, what was the reason why we did this? I just want to give you like a backstory. The reason why we did this because we said we were coming into a time where we found that people were, I guess not rediscovering, but seeing that we could have some benefits and opportunity of products made from these items as mentioned before. And I guess the research indicated that this would fall under what you would call the vegan market. So I did some research about the global vegan market, and the global vegan market right now is actually $32 billion US, that is. And of that demand, 70% of it is from the United States, which is the Caribbean's closest trading partner, well, in Jamaica aspect, that it is. So I said, okay, let us deep dive some more. When I look on the shelves in terms of the producers of these kind of products, that is the conversion products and using the natural resources products, I found that 95% of what we sold on the stores were imported. As apart from that, now there was one very predominant brand, and you guys might be familiar with Bob's Red Mill. Those guys, they have lots of gluten-free flours, and they do a lot of processing of processing and dehydrating of food products. Whatever it may be, those guys were the leaders in my space. So okay, so now that was opportunity identified. You can go ahead again now, Alec. Okay, so with that being said, my first strategy was to basically say, okay, this is an opportunity I have discovered. This is the market data that supports this opportunity. Let me see what I could provide. So previously, I was dabbling in selling the traditional stuff like the flours. Everybody says they're doing vegan, but we're doing cassava flour, we're doing sweet potato flour. But what I found was that the marketplace, yes, they appreciate these kind of flours, but there was a lack of, also word now, education on how to use these products. Because a lot of people, yes, they're considering to become vegan, but don't know how. Or some people are not, like myself, we're not very good cooks. So I had to find a way how to make a value add product. That means when a person sees it on the shelf, it's easy to just grab, it's convenient, it's easy to use, it's very, the explanation is simple. And here we came with my product on the right, as you can see it here, guys. This was the first iteration I came out with in October 2020. And this is Nella's Tendaronis sweet potato. So just take a minute at this packaging here, since we're talking about packaging and labeling. This was a packaging I thought was suitable because it was the only packaging available to me locally. I didn't have any experience in the space as to know how to go find a better packaging, if there was any. The sizing was what I saw on the shelves. It's a 400-gram size. The labeling, as you can see, the only thing that stands out on this thing right now is tenderonis and maybe possibly sweet potatoes. But in all, from a taste point of view and an idea point of view, it was a great idea. Everybody loved it, correct? Wow, sweet potato pasta, who knew? And that's what we took some time to develop the prototype and the formulation. But anyway, in regards to packaging, as you can see, guys, this is not a very sexy packaging. I mean, you can mention it in the chat. This is not a very sexy packaging at all. But anyway, so Alex, go ahead again. So all right, so we launched the package, and then we had something called, we faced some challenges, and they're listed here. There was a great public reaction, but there was very slow sales traction due to the newness of the innovation. Maybe Jamaica, by and large, is a traditional market. They're used to goods that they are accustomed, brand names that they're accustomed to, and products that they're accustomed to, by and large. So for you to make an impact in that, you'd have to, you'd have to definitely come with something that, oh, here's a better way to build a new mousetrap, or here's a better and louder way to make a new mousetrap, right? But I can let you guys read with me. So we said, no, these are the challenges we found. We found that one, we were just a single product SKU on the shelf. So imagine walking through your local pasta aisle, guys, of all the popular brands, imported, and even your local variation. They have from 200 gram to 400 gram. They have from penny pasta to twist to elbow to spaghetti to fusilli to bow ties, as you can understand, right? So imagine trying to position myself as a small manufacturer with one facing product in an aisle with 9 competing brands, and 9 competing brands having 6 different SKUs or 8 different SKUs. As you can see, it would be very hard to stand out. So we found out that packaging was very important because image is everything. How do we scream out in the aisle with this one opportunity when people are passing by, And of course, the price point, because of the inputs used to produce this is very challenging. We still have a hurdle to clear in Jamaica where people are open to the idea of the innovation. And hey, we just don't want to sell you sweet potato. We want to know, say, okay, that we can sell you sweet potato at a variation or at some other thing, some pricing point that makes it sustainable and economical for you to go ahead and create these wonderful products. It could be sweet potato, could be cassava based, could be dasheen based, could be sorrel based, whatever it is. So we still have some young ways to go. But that conversation has to be had in terms of pricing. And here we go. So, and the reason why I mentioned pricing, guys, you can, is that if you're trying to sell a product with a premium effect, people normally connotate, if he's asking this high amount of money for this product, it has to be, the product has to look like it's worth it. Like if you're going to ask for a Mercedes price car, your car had better look like a Mercedes, right? So, all right, guys, so you can see this was the great innovation. This was our first iteration. Okay, Alex, go ahead. So now, guys, here we are. So before, I want to tell you how we end up in this location. So I said we were launched in October of 2020. And, I had a relationship with quite a few stores because my experience was as a trader, going to stores. So my daily routine was included in walking stores. Like that's how I do my job. I sell to stores. So I'm always in a supermarket somewhere at least 7 days or 6 days, 5 days out of the week. So I'm always interacting with products, seeing what kind of products work. Products from Trinidad, products from Barbados, products from United States, Canada, China, whatever. And I said, boy, I wish we had the opportunity to look like these products, but we can only do so much with what we have locally and also what we have in terms of resources. So I said, okay, we have to go on a fact-finding mission to see what works for our favor. So I took a trip to the United States and I said, okay, I'm going to go to the most popular stores, which is the Walmart and the Whole Foods, and see what does it look like for brands abroad doing what I am doing. What is their benchmark? What do they look like, feel like, size like, represent, and how it is? So this was our second approach. We decided, one, we needed to have a total brand rehaul, a 360-degree spin. And this is some of the information that we gathered from the products walking the Isle of States. One, you have to have a clean and bold look, which I said implies a rich / first world kind of sentiment. Like I said, if you're demanding a Benz price, you have to have a Benz look. So we did this with collaboration with a few artists, our friends, a focus group. I said, hey guys, does this product scream out to you? So this was our first thing to do, the brand rehaul. Then we had to do something called a packaging makeover, or consistent package makeover. We said, guys, currently we are selling pastas in the, you can go back again, Alex, one more time. These pouches normally, they don't have an ability to stand up. So when you go to a supermarket, these pouches would normally be laid flat on the back, and then you would prop up 1 or 2 of them on its side, like how you see here, to kind of represent. But what happens when that package that is standing up is sold off, and then as a young manufacturer, you don't have any merchandise, you can't afford a merchandise because you're a small company. You are not the Grace or the Lascos or the whoever those people are. So you need every advantage how to make your product be seen. You can now skip again, Alex. Go back again, Alex. So we said, okay, a stand-up pouch is definitely the way to go. This way, I don't have to have a merchandiser. I can spend that money on something else. So here we are. So we said, okay, what were the steps? Boom, we have to make our package very loud. And you see, I chose the colors yellow. This is a stand-up color. Purple and yellow is a stand-up color. Like, it grabs your attention right away. Even if I'm only one SKU in the aisle, when you're walking that aisle, even just about interest point, it grabs your attention. It's bright, yet it screams, come and see me. Then we also found out, hey, maybe people don't want a 400-gram bag. Maybe they just want to even give you a try. Suppose you're a new manufacturer, a new supplier. People only want to try you out one time to see. Let me give Onel a chance and see what this thing is. But I don't want to commit to buying a 400 1-pound bag. I'm going to buy a 227 gram, which is a half pound or an 8-ounce bag. And they said, okay. So we decided to reduce the size. Okay. We also have at the front, as you can see, a representative of what is in the package. So there's a cutout at the front there. And let us speak to this. We don't have a cutout as yet. Our iteration now doesn't have the cutout, but it has just a picture graph of what it looks like inside. But the idea is to also tell people that, okay, this is what I'm selling. This is what it looks like inside. And give them the information on the front to support that in terms of size, net weight, very quickly. Anyway, so we decided to transition to a stand-up pouch. Yes, we wanted the stand-up pouch that is printed, but of course, we have price limitations. We can, as a small manufacturer, can't afford a printed pouch. I'd have to import that from abroad or from wherever it is, Miami, at a certain price point and a certain volume. We cannot do that. We cannot afford to do that at this iteration. So what I said to do, let us get as close as possible as we can to what it looks like now and sell it. And this is what we came up with. We were able to get a local stand-up blank pouch and create labeling that fit this exactly, form to fit, and give the impression as to where we want it to go. So sometimes you have to kind of position yourself of where you want to go and then force yourself to achieve that where you're going to be. But anyway, I digress. So like I said here is a stand-up pouch. It's facing forward. People can see where they're traversing the aisle, and it's also a very functional pouch, which brings me to form and function with your packaging again now. Here you can see there's at the very top, there is a resealable there. That means people can try your product. They don't have to worry about if they have to, how they're going to store it. Do they have to use all of it one time? Do they give you a second chance? Where can I keep it in a food safe environment and say, well, I even bought this to support oil, but I will use it sometime when I'm ready. I don't want to have to buy it in a 400 tier bag and then have to paper clip it or close spin it or something of that. Right?
You have to conclude, Onel. I think you have a couple of slides to show.
Okay, so this basically covers it really. So Alex, you can move ahead now. So just a quick impact, I can tell you that in between September 2020 to the end of August 2021, we were at the light blue shade where the sales were a little bit low. And we transitioned at the top of December 2021 into 2022 and up until now. And I can see these were the results were after. We basically had a 100% improvement in sales or in sales volume. And also the social media was increased because people started to talk about it, and we spent more time, since we were satisfied with our product at the end, what it would look like. We kind of spread the ethos about it. Anyway, go ahead, Alex. All right, so these are my key takeaways, guys. First of all, you have to do the research in the market. You have to see who is your market leader by benchmarking. Who is the market leader in your space? You have to basically do what they're doing cheaper or do exactly what they're doing in terms of how they position and present their product. Those guys are number one because of a certain reason, and you have to be able to act like and think like them. Then you think about your positioning and how you want to price it, who you want to appeal to, how do you bring about your messaging, what about your packaging functionality and your packaging visibility. And most of all, you have to stay informed. Always be on the ball about what the market is, where it's going. The first lady spoke about what you call now, like the type of packaging you should be using now in terms of the biodegradable type of packaging, the food safe packaging, the environmentally friendly packaging. These are questions and issues you have to be thinking about going forward. But like I said, your first iteration is never your last form. guys, keep on working on your packaging, do some more research, see what you can change, add on, and that is my contribution. If you guys
have a last
reach out to me in the
slide.
chat group.
You have a last slide with an image exactly of the products,
Okay.
which I thought they are very nice. You will see compliments in the chat.
Thank you, guys.
We will see.
All right, guys.
Yeah.
So
thank you very much, Onel. You have an idea of the products.
Right. So, guys, we took basically the learnings from those experiences and those failings, and I said, okay, well, now we found out what works. And the people's response to say, hey, Onel, this packaging looks like an imported brand. Let us work with you on this one. And so I've applied it to my pasta products. We want to go into cassava pasta. We want to go into sweet potato pasta in the different shapes. We're going to apply that to the packaging. The Bami packaging, you can see it's loud. It tells you what we're selling. And we're combining our innovation in terms of products as well as our, our newness in terms of packaging. So we have here our breadcrumbs made from cassava crumbs. And thank you, guys.
Thank you very much, Onel. I'm sorry, so it's very, very interesting indeed, and you will see already, yes, questions, and we had the chance to see that's fabulous actually packaging, and now you solve the import, you contribute at least the import problem using the local food really into something very, very nice, and thank you for the takeaways as well that we will come back to. Now the last speaker in this first panel before giving the floor to Allister is Kamarsha SYLVESTER. We go now to Dominica, also passionate for entrepreneurship. Her product you will see is very nice Caribbean sea moss, another niche and non-niche, but at least making use of local and upgrading it. She's really also a firm advocate, and we have seen a few of the previous speakers of healthy eating, so the nutrition part very important and critical for the region as well. Please share your story in really 10 minutes that we just finished on time to give the floor to Allister. Please, Kamarsha. You are muted. If you put the microphone, you are muted. Yeah.
Good morning. I am Kamarsha SYLVESTER, the owner of Hey Mama. Now, Hey Mama was launched on September 30th, 2022. The idea of Hey Mama came about sometime in 2021 during the independent season when I consumed a lot of wild meat, such as crabs, crayfish, etc. Now, our folks will tell you that anytime you consume so much of crustaceans, you should take a little wash out, a little clean up. So I went on this venture, and one of the ingredients, or one of the foods I consumed a lot was sea moss. And I could see how it benefited me greatly. So I was like, why isn't this readily available on the market? So I did my little market research and found out that there was room for me on the market. After this, I collaborated and cooperated with a creative designer who then designed my logo and my label. I then had to source my packaging to get it actively printed on the packaging, because I didn't want to have just any ordinary packaging where you just put it in a plastic bag and stick a label on it. No, I wanted something of international standard. Next slide, please. Now, the business model that we use at Hey Mama is the business-to-business model, which is basically we at Hey Mama selling to other businesses. So we sell to supermarkets, to other agro-processors, we sell to hotels, to gift shops, and
hello, good morning.
Basically, this model is very good for Hey Mama because it shows market stability. It shows exactly when you're going to get income. You also realize and recognize a trend when you're using this model. So you will know exactly when your buyer is running low. And it has a very relatively low business cost, which is very important for any startup. Next slide, please. So what does Hey Mama produce? Well, Hey Mama is involved in the packaging of dried, wild-crafted sea moss. Currently, we have two products. You have the wild-crafted purple sea moss and the wild-crafted gold sea moss. Our products are 100% natural, raw, gluten-free, and vegan. Next slide, please. Now, the market. Presently, America has 75% share of the global market trend, and there was a 14% increase in 2022. Now, this increase is expected to go on by 15% annually until the year 2030. Now, just by giving you these statistics, you will realize that there is definitely room for Hey Mama on the market. Now, compared to years gone by, consumers are more mission-minded, which means that they want to purchase from producers or from factories that have positive impact on the world. Now, sea moss contains 92 out of the 102 minerals that your body needs. There is no other product which contains this much. So as a result, you'll find that a lot of consumers are now gravitating towards the consuming of sea moss. A lot of our consumers are vegans and people who are seeking some alternative source of medicine, because sea moss has a lot of health benefits. Now, our markets include supermarkets, hotels, agro-processors, gift shops, health shops, etc. Now, it is our ambition to tap into schools and hospitals, because we know that there's great opportunity in the health sector. With the growing demand for plant-based foods by health enthusiasts, there will also be a growing demand for Hey Mama products. Next slide, please. Now, you may ask, what is the link? Now, Hey Mama basically has three main linkages. We link with the farmers. That's where we purchase our products from, the raw material from the farmers. We package, we sell to supermarkets, who in turn sell to the consumers. Likewise, we sell to agro-processors, who make stuff like soaps, creams, shampoos, drinks, which in turn will sell to in retail to consumers. We also sell directly to consumers as well. Now, the reason we have this type of linkages is because it aids us, it is faster, so we wouldn't have to be looking for customers or individuals, but instead going through supermarkets and other chains, they would have the opportunity for customers to come to them. Next slide, please. Now, if you look at the screen, you will realize that there are three types of packaging here. There's the one in the brown paper bag, and then there's there are the two others to the right, which is what we use right now. Now, if I were to ask you, or if I were to approach you with this packaging, and I told you I'm trying to sell sea moss to you, I'm definitely 100% sure that you're not going to choose the ordinary one in the brown paper bag, because it is not as attractive. My point is, consumers purchase with their eyes. So as a result, it is absolutely necessary for it to have attractive packaging. I cannot stress this enough, because this is attractive packaging will give you the competitive advantage on the market. Now, the packaging of your product should tell a story. It should be one with class, with a nice finish. Now, not only should your packaging be attractive, but it should also be functional, because these pouches, for example, were carefully chosen because it stores the product properly. It is Ziploc, it is resealable, and it is also smell-proof. So if you have to put your nose to the packaging, you cannot smell it. Now, this is very important, because it being smell-proof means that it prevents additional moisture from entering into the packaging, which would then cause spoilage. So choosing the correct packaging is also preventative measures, in that it would protect you, it would protect your product from the elements. Now, with regards to labeling, Hey Mama worked closely with the Dominica Bureau of Standards, which is the entity for standards in Dominica. Now, the Bureau ensures that the information on your packaging is accurate. So, for example, you must have the generic name of the product. You must show the net weight. You must show the origin of the product. All this is required. Now, the Bureau ensures that these standards are met in order to meet the international standards. Some of the information is important to the consumer as well as to Hey Mama, because as a consumer, you would want to know your best before date. It is important to Hey Mama because Hey Mama will want to know exactly which batch was produced when. So for example, if there's an issue with one of our products, we would be able to recall the product by just looking at the batch number. Now, some important features of the pouch is that it's resealable, like I stated before. So if you don't use all your CMOS one time, you could just seal it back shut, and it will be as fresh as when you just open the packaging. Also, the packaging has an international appeal. It looks great. People will gravitate towards it. On our, as you can see, we have a little window where you can actually see the CMOS on the inside. This is important because people like to see what they're buying. Nobody likes to just purchase things and hoping that it is okay. No, you want to see from the onset. Another additional feature that we have on our packaging is a QR code. At the back of our packaging, if you turn to the back of the packaging, you will scan the QR code. It will take you straight to our Instagram page. Now, this is 2023, so it is important that we keep up to the times. You know, people want to be able to follow you on social media. People want to see what else they could do with the CMOS. So just by scanning this QR code, it takes you to our Instagram page, and you could follow and see the different recipes that you could use with CMOS, etc. Next slide, please. Next slide. Now, yes. So what is next for Hey Mama? Currently, Hey Mama is becoming more and more well-known in Dominica and the region by extension. So as a result, we need more space. Space renovation is important because, like I said, the production is increasing. So as a result, the expansion is absolutely necessary. Now, in order for Hey Mama to export, because that's one of our next ambition as well, in order for Hey Mama to export, we need to at least have proper wholesale packaging. So that's another thing, that's another item on our list, wholesale packaging. Currently, we have already gotten the artwork done for our wholesale packaging, so we are still trying to source exactly the type of boxes that we require, so that we could at least export to other countries. Another thing, e-commerce. E-commerce is extremely important because, like I said, we trying to live up to the times. We would like to be able to make purchase. Individuals would like to be able to make purchases online because online is the way to go right now. So we're trying to keep up with the trends, and as a result, these are some of the things that we would have to take on. Now, another area in which Hey Mama would really need to explore, as a result, we'd have to have a website and you know, basically just e-tools that would help us. Now, in the year 2024, which is next year, it is our ambition to introduce a new product because every company's aim and ambition is to expand. So currently, we are actively working on some products, and hopefully by 2024, we should be all there ready to launch something new to the world. Next slide, please. And we have come to the end of the presentation. This right here on the screen is actually what our product looks like. We are hoping to be able to just supply and to reach the international market and throughout the region. So I'm encouraging everyone to look out for Hey Mama on a supermarket shelf near you. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Kamarsha, and really also for the timekeeping that we just are completely on time to hand over. Very, very interesting products. Again, many questions and contributions in the chat, including, because the packaging is really a problem, where to get it, where to source it from, where to import it. The cost remains critical. And there is a need for help at some part, of the development of the product. So many other questions that we will come back because we still have some presentations towards the end. So without a delay, in the interest of time, please, Allister, you moderate the second part. Allister GLEAN is the representative of IICA in Barbados currently, but of course he has a very long experience. Many of you in the region would have known him as a specialist in agribusiness and value chain. So very comfortable and very passionate about entrepreneurship and the activity we develop. Thank you again, of course, as Jeremy said at the beginning, for the partnership with IICA. When we see these great entrepreneurs, it's very, very motivating. Allister.
Isolina, thank you for those warm words, and good morning to all participants on this very important webinar. I would like to extend greetings to everyone from our Director General, Dr. Manuel Otero, from my colleagues in the region, and of course, the delegation here in Barbados. This is a very important event for us. We recognize the value of addressing packaging and labeling, particularly for producers who have a micro, small, and medium-sized nature. I want to compliment COLEAD for the partnership indeed. And Isolina, I'm really grateful for our ongoing relationship. And I think that we can add significant value to the advancement of agribusiness here in the region. Now, let's move on quickly. I would like to thank the first set of presenters for the presentation so far. They have done excellent work, and I'm looking forward to the question and answer period. And of course, we would like to thank you, the audience, for joining this morning. Now, this second session, we are going to speak to the various agencies that support packaging and labeling for these various presenters. Now, as Jeremy would have outlined, packaging and labeling plays a critical role in the competitiveness of these entrepreneurs. But we need to also recognize that standards and issues-related guidelines for said packaging and labeling is very critical, and they have to adhere to these various standards. We also will note that there are new trends and developments in the industry, and entrepreneurs need to be kept abreast of these issues. And we should also appreciate that the various players require support to allow them to move to the next level. With that said, we need to hear from the next set of presenters. Two of them actually undertake work in packaging and labeling, but they more importantly provide support to various players in their respective countries and region with respect to packaging and labeling. And the third presenter, who's actually going to go first, provides more regulatory support in the area of standards. So with that said, I'm going to begin the introduction of the presenters that are going to follow. The first presenter is going to be Mara Abraham. Mara Abraham is the Program Manager for Standards Development at the Dominica Bureau of Standards. She is responsible for managing the National Standards Development Program, which includes the development of Dominica national standards and the coordination of Dominica's participation in regional and international standards development work. Mara also serves as the chair of the Technical Management Committee of the CARICOM Regional Organization for Standards and Quality, CROSQ. And I want to say a special thanks to CROSQ for supporting us with this webinar. This particular committee that Mara leads is a committee made up of representatives from CARICOM member states and is responsible for the development of CARICOM regional standards. So she plays a critical role in addressing this issue of packaging and labeling standards that we're going to discuss. Now, Mara holds a Bachelor of Science degree in Agri-Business Management from Cameron University, and she's currently pursuing an MSc in Management Studies at the University of the West Indies. It's indeed a pleasure for me to introduce Mara. I've worked with her directly in the past as well. And again, she is here with the support of CROSQ. With that said, Mara, let me invite you to share your presentation. Please note that we have 10 minutes for your presentation. When one minute is remaining, I will come on and remind you it's time to wrap up. Thank you very much.
Okay, good morning all. Thank you, Alice. Okay, so yes, we are here to talk, well, I'm here to talk about labeling and packaging from a regulatory standpoint, as well as from the regional standpoint. So we will look at an overview of CROSQ. So we'll let you know what CROSQ is, look at some areas of packaging, the benefits of labeling, and what are the requirements as it relates to labeling. So CROSQ is the CARICOM Regional Organization for Standards and Quality. It was established by an intergovernmental agreement, which falls under the revised Treaty of Chatham-Rasmus. The mandate of CROSQ is more or less fourfold. So we do trade facilitation, we try to enhance the efficiency in production and the delivery of goods and services, to assist with the improvement as it relates to quality of goods and services within the region, as well as consumer health and protection. So CROSQ is made up of the 14 member states within CARICOM, and the main objective is more or less to harmonize the various areas of the quality infrastructure within the region. So the quality infrastructure we are referring to are standards, metrology, which is the study of the science of measurement, accreditation, conformity assessment, which deals with testing, certification, and inspection. And of course, we have to communicate all of these. So we look at quality infrastructure as it relates to marketing and promotion. So in a nutshell, that is what CROSQ is. As I said, we are made up of the 14 member states. Dominica, where I'm from, is a member of that, of CROSQ, as well as the Technical Management Committee, as Allister mentioned. Okay, so let's look at packaging. In the area of packaging, there are certain things that we need to look at. Our presenters before mentioned quite a few that we need to look at. So one of the main functions of packaging is to maintain what is within the contents of the package. Okay, it also has to preserve the quality as well as extend the shelf life. So you do not want the item to expire or to go bad whilst it is on the shelf. It helps, as a number of the panelists before indicated, it helps with their marketing. So whatever package that you choose to use for your product, it's supposed to be an integral component within your marketing management. There are two types of packaging that you would probably have to look at. The primary package, which is what is in contact with the product. So if it's a bottle or if it is a pouch, as many of our panelists before had. And then you also have to look at secondary packaging. Kamarsha from Hey Mama spoke about she would like to export. Okay, so in what do you put this primary package in to facilitate transportation and storage, as well as make it easy for handling? So these are some of the areas that you would have to look at. When we're looking at packaging, some of the general considerations, what are some of the things that you need to look at when you are selecting your package? A lot of the panelists that we heard before, they look at food. Whatever you put the content in, it needs to be compatible. It must not provide any contamination to the product that you are going to sell to the consumer. It needs to provide protection, okay? Sanitary protection, if not, I think Hey Mama spoke about her package does not allow for additional moisture to enter the product. She also said something about odor-free, okay? So that it has to protect the product from additional odors as well as light, which may cause spoilage. It has to be resistant to impact. You do not want to, I know some persons, as we use glass, we need to ensure that even whilst we use glass, it still provides some kind of protection. Tamper-proof, you do not want anybody to be able to, I see it on a package on the shelf, I open it up, I smell it, I taste it, and I put it back. We know that's not, we do not want that to happen. So it has to be tamper-proof. But yet still it needs to be easy for the consumer who have purchased the product to open the product. I think Onel as well as Kamarsha spoke about the resealable feature, on their package. After we open it, we need to be able to reseal that package. That way it remains in a state that can be used again. Ease of disposal. There is some talk about biodegradability. Okay, we do not want to cause further harm to our environment. So the ease of disposal is important. The size, the shape, what type of product are you looking at? How much you want to put into that, how much you want to sell to the consumer. I think Onel spoke about the fact that he had a 400 gram. Now he's looking at a half pound size package. We need to consider these things when we are determining what packaging that we're looking at. The appearance. Hey Mama spoke about the brown paper bag, and now you're moving to a different paper packaging material. Can you print on it? Okay, or do you need to put an additional label? But all of this also depends on the cost as well as the availability. So when we are determining all of these, when we're looking at these considerations, we also have to look at what it's going to cost us as well as how available that product is. Labeling is a component of your package. And as was previously indicated, some of them we use for marketing, as well as some of them there are regulatory requirements as it relates to that. So your product, when it comes to labeling, your label provides a sense of identification. I think all the panelists before indicated that the label serves as a way to identify the product, a product which would otherwise be nameless. And then the consumer is better able to differentiate your product with another product. It also provides a description, okay? So it provides descriptive information such as the size of the product, the ingredients, how to use the product, how to store it, okay? And it brings the information to life. Marketing. A number of our panelists have already indicated how the labels that they have placed on their product have allowed them to market the product. So marketing is about grabbing the attention of the consumer, and it makes the consumer know exactly what that is in the product, and it encourages the consumer to buy the product. Okay, another benefit of labeling is the fact that it protects the consumers from being cheated. Okay, so it protects the consumer from buying the wrong product. So you do not want your product being mistaken with another product. Okay, and you want the consumer to be constantly going back to buy your specific product. So a proper label allows for that to happen. Okay, it also provides information that are required. So what you find is that within the region, most of the labeling requirements are mandatory. Okay, so that allows you, by putting a label on there, it allows you to comply with those mandatory requirements. So in other words, you are now ensuring that you are fully compliant with the labeling requirements. Okay, and we will look at some of the labeling requirements a little later. And because a lot of these labeling requirements are mandatory, what you find is that your retail outlets will not accept a product if it is not labeled. Okay, so it allows your product to be accepted by most of the retail outlets out there. Within the region, there are several labeling requirements, labeling standards that are available, and persons can review and ensure that their product meets those requirements. So most of them are related to goods and services. So you heard Kamarsha earlier on spoke about that she visited the Bureau. She would have dealt with us as it relates to the labeling requirement for prepackaged foods. Okay, so there are also requirements for tobacco as well as goods, your brewed products, as well as packaging of aerosol insecticides regionally. But within each member state, which we need to, from all of us who are here within the region, with CARICOM region, we need to go to our bureaus and find out what exactly is required, because other member states will have other types of labeling requirements in terms of different products that would require labeling. But when we look at labeling, most of the region, we have all adopted the labeling for prepackaged foods and prepackaged
All right,
goods.
just want to let you know, you have 1 more minute, please. So you need to wrap up.
It's just to point out some of the things, like some of the requirements. So the name of your product, your expiry date. You'll need to have who is packaging. So your name and your address of your packer. Your net content is always important. How much is the consumer getting? The country of origin. Who is making the product? So the name and address of the manufacturer. Where is it coming from? You need to indicate if it's coming from Dominica, is it Jamaica or Trinidad? The ingredients, any warnings that you would have, so your precautions need to also be on your label. Another important is your date mark, which is the lot, your expiry date or your manufacturing date. These are aspects that need to be on your label. And I will again stress that you need to visit the Bureau of Standards within your member state. That way they can better inform you as to what it is that is required from your label. So with that, thank you very much.
Mara, let me thank you for sticking to the time and delivering a fantastic presentation. Very informative. For me, I like the fact that you outlined the functions, the considerations, and most importantly, you advise us to go to our Bureau standard in the country to give us the requisite guidelines. So we are really appreciative of those insights. So I want to move on to the next presenter, but before I do so, a bit of housekeeping, just to remind the participants on the chat and in the audience, please present your questions in the chat. There's a question and answer component, and we'd like to invite you all, put your questions in from the first segment as well as this current segment. I want to invite you to do so throughout the various presentations. Also, all the slides will be made available to you as well, and a link has been shared where you can source the bio data of the presenters as well as the various slides. Moving on quickly and thanking Mara again for her presentation, I want to present Sergio Tillet. Sergio is from the Belize Marketing and Development Corporation. We were just in the middle of the region in Dominica, and now we're going across west to Belize. And Sergio has over 24 years of experience in the industry. He has managed business and he is engaged in various marketing activities. His professional journey is characterized by a series of contributions to farmers and farming communities. In his current position, Sergio leads the projects unit of the BMDC. He has spearheaded the first contractual agreement, between a beekeeper cooperative and the BMDC. He also conducts marketing presentations to prepare different cooperatives to undertake their various marketing activities. He has also actively contributed to the marketing of milpa-grown rice from over 45 rice-growing communities in southern Belize. And in this context, his bilingual background, he speaks both Spanish and English, is a positive in terms of communicating with farmers from different ethnicities and trades. Sergio is also actively involved and engaged with government and international entities to assist farmers. He liaises with the Ministry of Agriculture, Food Security and Enterprise to execute different projects. And Sergio also holds a bachelor's degree in business administration, a dynamic individual, and I'm confident that he's going to bring a lot to this presentation. And with that said, Sergio, let me pass the presentation rights to you. Kindly proceed. Remember, you have 10 minutes to do your presentation.
Mr. Allister, thank you. Good morning and good day to everybody that has joined us today. Let me quickly share my screen and go on with the presentation. Okay, as I was formally introduced, I am part of the Belize Marketing and Development Corporation in Belize. Basically, what we do, we are a statutory body under the Ministry of Agriculture. As such, we are considered the marketing arm of the ministry. Our vision is to become a proactive and dynamic business corporation that provides quality, wholesome products in an efficient services to our customers in a timely manner. Our mission is to always promote, develop, deliver high quality goods and services to our clients in the most cost-effective manner throughout the country. As a statutory body under the Ministry of Agriculture, our corporation basically was known for doing importations, especially whenever the country cannot produce enough of certain products. And these we're talking about like potato, onion, lettuce, carrots. And what we have been doing as a corporation is that we are now marketing honey and rice. And these come from, as mentioned by Mr. Allister, it comes from different communities. The honey, for example, we will normally buy from honey producers in the northern part of the country. And the rice comes from the southern part of the country where we benefit over 45 communities and that produce the rice that we mill. Our corporation has 4 different branches, and these are located, if we look at the map here of Belize, in the northern part where we have Orange Walk, that is where we do the main distribution network for when it comes to importation of different goods that we supply. The Belize City market in the center is where our corporate headquarters are located, and this is where the accounts, HR, and the projects units is located. The southern part of the country, Toledo, or Big Falls in particular, is a community where the mill is located. And this is where we gather all the rice and stuff from the farmers and we mill it. And lately we had in outskirts of Belize, one of our main tourist attractions, San Pedro. That's an island where we have an outlet where we normally market different products, locally produced products, agro-processed products, and that's an outlet for these. For when it comes to linkages to farmers, we have formal agreements with both beekeepers and rice producers. And as I mentioned earlier, we have over 25 small beekeepers that benefit from this contract that we have with them. And this is the second year that we have re-signed a contract with them. And as it comes to rice producers, it's over 150 small farmers, milpa farmers, that produce rice for us to mill to be able to supply for the local consumption. Prior to 2020, there was basically not much links with farmers. It was under a different administration. Very little products were marketed. Our corporation was only known for rice and, onions and potatoes. That was it. And the rice mill that we had in the south, which was already existent, was almost on the verge of being dismantled because they didn't see it as a financially feasible entity. And then there was always informal working relationship with beekeepers. But then in 2020, we had a general election where a new Minister of Agriculture came on board, and as an agronomist and as a farmer himself, came up with a different mentality, and he wanted to revamp the BMDC to be more active when it comes to farmers, when it comes to marketing. For example, in June 13 this year, as I mentioned, we had renewed a contract because beekeepers were producing honey and they were trying to market it on their own. They are very good when it comes to quality, they're very good when it comes to production, but when it comes to marketing, they lacked a lot, and they were having a lot of issues trying to make their products reach farther from where they produce. So that's when we signed a contract as an entity, as a corporation, and we were able to gather or buy their honey and be able to market it throughout the country. That will in turn ensure them that they don't have food loss. Like I had at the top, we have BMDC today, the strategic objective number 2. We want to improve our local market access for farmers. And this was done mainly through the San Pedro market, which was opened last year, December 2nd. And then also another thing that we did differently was that both branches in Belize City, where our main headquarters are, and the Orange Walk market, we have a distribution network where our trucks are able to be out and market these products for these farmers and beekeepers. Our strategic objective 3 is to improve international market. And what we have done last year, we started with the Ministry of Agriculture. We visited the Salvador market, which has roughly about 8 million inhabitants. And they import basically 85% of what they produce. And we have surplus of certain products that we could definitely target for them. And this is where the marketing part came in, that we search for markets. We managed to liaise with our counterparts in San Salvador, and we were able to make a pest risk analysis to be processed. And now we can export 4 commodities that we can produce and quality and abundance to this nation. Our strategic objective 4 is to improve our corporation's institutional strength regarding services and outputs. And one of the things that we have managed to do is that we did an extension where we have now an in-house labeling, printing unit, which was not in existence in the past. And this is mainly to assist our local farmers, our local agro-processors, especially those that, for example, are producing coconut oil, as we see in the little picture here. They did things informally, but now we are helping them out when it comes to this unit that we have on board. And then changes in the rice industry, as mentioned earlier, like, for example, the resurgence of this Big Falls rice mill. This was closed for over 8 years. And then with our new administration, we managed to open this back. And now we are able to mill rice paddy that is produced in the South, again, to make it like a financial venture, a feasible venture for these farmers. Now, when it comes to packaging, I heard our colleagues earlier and the successes they have seen when it comes to packaging. Well, for us, Belize is a nation that doesn't really produce plastic or glass packaging. So what we did is our unit managed to go both to Guatemala and Mexico, which are our neighbors. And we managed to source materials to be able to do packaging for both honey and for rice. Honey, for example, we have different presentations, as I will have in a little slide below, where we have different packages that we managed to get from Mexico. And these packages also, we have it accessible for any agro-processor in the country that, for example, want to do pepper sauces or they want to do jams. We managed to source it at a far reasonable price for them so that we could lower their cost of production. When it comes to the rice, for example, we've sourced that packaging both from Guatemala and Mexico. And now we have our own rice brand, which we call the Big Falls Rice. And this is something that we launched early this year. So it's a new brand in the market, but unfortunately, it's only available in the local market because Belize only could supply for its self-sustenance for the national consumption. For example, we see there the different packages of honey that we have presently. The presentation was not like that in the past, and this is, for us, it's a milestone to reach to this level. And as to rice, we have in different packages. These are mostly packaged in plastic bags. Again, we liaise with our counterparts from the Bureau of Standards of Belize, and they went through the labels that we created to make sure that these abide by the standards that is expected for the national consumption. We have them both in like what we'd call little bags and plastic bags available. So for us as an entity, our priorities is to strengthen the relationship with the tourism sector. There is a lot of potential when it comes to consumption in the tourist area, which is fastly growing back in our nation. And we are working along with our counterparts in the Ministry of Tourism to be able to capitalize in this market and be able to provide a wider market for our processors and our rice growers, our honey producers, to be able to have this in those markets. Another aim is for us to be able to increase our rice mill production. For this year alone, all we managed to get was a little over 500,000 pounds of rice milled, because farmers in the South thought that the mill was sold out, was dismantled, and was no longer in existence, when in reality it was all the while they are being maintained and waiting patiently to be used. So this year, what we did differently is that we have partnered with more farmers in the South. We have provided more services for them to be able to do land preparation, and then we should be able to get at least 2 million pounds of paddy this year, which will more or less translate to about 1.7 million pounds of rice production for this 2023-2024 season. Another priority that we have is to increase our corporation's output. At the moment, the labels we're producing is just for a few of agro-processors in the country. There is potential, but what we're doing now is that we are ensuring that every presentation, every training we do to these corporations, to these cooperatives, we inform them of the services that are available so they know they can capitalize on that and be able to get labels produced for them at a far reasonable price than what they would do normally. When it comes to honey, the brand of the honey is Belize Jewels Honey. And what we want to do is that we want to do more sales on it. We notice that the beekeepers have been in constant production. They have improved a lot because the Ministry of Agriculture is giving them a lot more technical assistance. And now it's our side now to ensure that we can do the marketing and we can do the distribution for these. And we are hoping that if we could get the right links, maybe we could even go to the Caribbean market and be able to expose them to a brand, quality brand, we can say, that they can enjoy and always be buying over and over. And of course, we can do much without human resources. So we want to make sure that our human resources section improve and to be able to get more into the funding that is available out there, because our institution is not funded by the government. We are self-sustained. So whatever income we generate on our own, that is what we use to turn over to be able to provide services, to be able to provide training, to be able to get the equipment that we need to be able to assist our farmers. So these are things that as a corporation, we're trying to do to be able to make our farmers be more productive and to be able to access them bigger markets if we can. So these are things that as a corporation, we're working hard on. And basically, that is my presentation. If you guys have any questions, please feel free to inbox us, and then we'll definitely be able to assist.
So, Joe, thank you for such an informative presentation. I didn't stop you because I recognize you were wrapping up, but that was really, really useful for us. You all have quite a robust program across here in Belize, and I appreciate the facilities that you shared with us, that you all used to undertake the support to the various producers. Quite useful to hear that you all are engaged in South-South cooperation with Guatemala and Mexico. And I think it's really something that's inspiring for all of us to recognize that you all are self-sustaining. So we thank you for your presentation. I just hope that we can continue engaging you and that the various presenters here and audience can engage you for additional support going forward. And with that, I want to encourage persons again, put your questions, comments in the chat. There's a Q&A component, so we want to invite you all to do that. With that said, let me move on to our final presenter for today's activity. This presenter is no stranger to many of us, and I can say that she's a very dynamic presenter and has been doing phenomenal work in Suriname. You would notice that we've gone through the region, north in Jamaica, south to Trinidad, we've gone to the center in Dominica, west to Belize, and now we're going east to Suriname. And I would want to introduce Tanya LIEUW-A-SOE, who's the chairperson of LIEUW-A-SOE Suriname and the CEO of Suravit in Suriname. Tanya says she doesn't want a long introduction, so let me just quickly say that Tanya grew up as the daughter of an agriculturalist, and she has been an entrepreneur since 1990. In 2004, she founded Suravit, a company which produces juices from organically grown exotic fruits and supplies, hotel chains in Suriname, restaurants, and the catering companies. I know that she also exports throughout the region as well. Maybe she'll speak to that. As the CEO of Suravit, Tanya strives to contribute to sustainable food and nutrition security, economic growth, value chain development, and promotion employment opportunity in Suriname. And she primarily focuses on supporting women and rural women at that. Tanya is also the founder and president of the First Women Agricultural Cooperative in Suriname. And this is the cooperative titled LIEUW-A-SOE Suriname, which was founded in 2013. The cooperative is an organization which women have the same passion for agriculture, and they come together and they empower each other and support each other towards a common goal, and that is strengthening of Suriname's agricultural sector to address the issues of poverty alleviation with entrepreneurial zeal, innovative business methods, and courage, all focused on the local and international market. And the cooperative has almost 40 members. With that said, I take pleasure in introducing Tanya to wrap us up as the final presenter in today's session. Tanya?
Thank you, Allister. Good morning to you all. And actually, you almost said it all, so I can say goodbye by this now. No, good morning to you all. Let me start by extend my compliments to all the speakers before me. I must say that I'm very proud to hear that things are happening in the Caribbean and that we can easily compete with the highly industrialized world out there. Let me tell you quickly who we are. It's not about me, as Allister already underscored. It's
Tanya, you've broken off. We're not hearing you.
Oh, okay. Do you see my slide? And can you hear me now? Hello?
Yes, we are seeing it. Kindly proceed. We're seeing it. Go ahead.
Can you hear me now? Okay.
10 minutes. Yes.
Okay, yes. Yes, our organization is Uma Fusanang, is a women cooperative, translated in English, We the Women of Suriname. It's a social and economic cooperative, and we are farmers, entrepreneurs, and business owners, while simultaneously shouldering the primary responsibility for our children's education and family nutrition. We make up more than half of the agriculture workforce and may be considered the key change agents for economic and environmental and social good. Here you see a picture of some of the women from the cooperative so that you can get to know them. What is our mission? Our mission is to empower our vision is to empower at least 100 women by 2025, arming them with the tools, knowledge, and resources vital for sustainable production. Through this empowerment, we aspire to bolster their economic independence, cultivating a profound sense of self-reliance and community pride. Our ultimate aim is to trigger a virtuous cycle of progress wherein the improved economic standing of these women serves as a catalyst for broader community advancement. At the heart of our vision lies an unwavering commitment to crafting wholesome products that not only benefit consumers, but also contribute to the well-being of the local environment. All we do centers around people for us. We firmly believe that by prioritizing social progress, economic growth, and environmental sustainability, we can pave the way for a harmonious and prosperous future for all stakeholders. Our journey is driven by the belief that when women thrive, entire communities flourish and the planet thrives. Together, we are building a future that is resilient, equitable, and sustainable, one empowered woman at a time. What is our business model? The cooperative, we Uma Fusanang and Surifit Envy. Surifit Envy is a processing agency, a limited company, and they are social entrepreneurs who blend business and social concerns to create positive impacts in the lives of those associated with our mission. We believe that success isn't solely measured by profits. For us, a social enterprise, success is defined by the positive changes we bring to the world. Our commitments lies in making a meaningful difference in the lives of individuals and communities. Besides being a social enterprise, we are also focusing on preservation and improvement of our Asian food practices. We merge centuries of Asian knowledge with the latest practices in food innovation and food safety. In our business model, our women are continuously being trained in good agriculture practices, good manufacturing, good hygiene, packaging, labeling, etc. The training activities are meant to constantly empower the women and support their capacity. I was taught to focus more on the labeling part of our products, and I will share here with you some pictures of the growth of our product. Our main product is a Asian cassava porridge, which is being smoked for 2 weeks, traditionally on a special kind of wood. And if you see, look at the picture left, the original, actually the original way that this product is being marketed up till today, and we're trying to teach the women to do it differently. But the top 3 pictures will be very familiar to many of our colleagues in the Caribbean. And that is because packaging is kind of challenging topic for us. So the second picture is the grated version of this hard block of cassava porridge. And the third picture is where you see that people are still printing out a small label and putting it on the package because these are the resources they have. This is the best they can do. But actually, in 2023, it is a no-go. In 2014, we launched our innovative porridge in the pouches. You see it left bottom side. And this was done after we had some training conducted by IICA, where we learned how to present ourselves and the importance of packaging, labeling, and the aesthetic side of your product. So after this training, you will see that our product went through some changes. There we had how do you say that? An logo designed, and this is actually our brand logo, which we use is to be stand out actually and to be recognized by the world. It was designed by a designer in England. And the right side picture is our new fortified product in 2023. This is what it will look like. The product has already been developed and it will be packed in boxes so that we can demonstrate the difference with the pouches. This porridge is fortified with 15 nutritional and nutrients that are added, and with protein out of soya. I think that the speakers before me have almost said it all. We have many products, and for us, I will share with you what the importance is, what the stages are that our products are going through, every single product, before we can say that we can come up with a suitable packaging. Presentation and packaging plays a crucial role in all products that we develop. It's not only for protecting of the products, to enhance their visual appeal. So I will quickly go through, because of the time, I will go through the 6 points that are very crucial for us. The protection, one of the primary functions of our packaging is to safeguard our products from damage, contamination, and external influences. We want to ensure that our products reach consumers in a pristine condition. All of you might ever have a case that you buy in the supermarket a product that was set besides washing powders, and suddenly your chips or any product will taste like the washing powder. So that is something that will not be right for your product. The preservation.
Tanya, 1 more minute, Tanya. 1 more minute.
1 more minute? Okay, then we have to go very quick. I didn't know that's that quick. So it needs to be protected, preserved, and the information on it is very important. Your product has to stand out. It should be attractive, functional. Your packaging should be functional and sustainable. This is our brand. It's all about the women. It's all about people. Our brand DNA represents our people-centric strategy, and that's at the core of everything we do. These are the products that we produce, and you will see that on all our products, the brand logo is there. I will do it quickly. I had this slide just to demonstrate that we recently gained the certification. It says a management system certification. It's the highest food safety certification, but it has a component that speaks specifically on packaging, and you need to know all the specs from your packaging that you're using. So packaging is very important. Yes, this is what we all the small producers in the Caribbean are dealing with. It is a war zone out there. We have to make sure that our product stands out. We have to make sure that it meets the requirements, the labeling, and all the requirements. So this is the challenge, and we cannot do it alone. We need strategic partnerships for that. So we have partnered with many of, you see the logos of them. IICA's played a very big role. COLEAD supported us a lot up till recently, where we developed our market entrance plan to enter the European market. So I think that we are, as small entrepreneurs, cannot do it alone. We really need support from developing agencies, developing partners. For those who will see my presentation, you can read along. I've tried to point out what can be done to support us as small entrepreneurs to actually be able to package our products in a better way and to keep up to all the standards. So in my presentation, you will read it. And this is our passion. This is what we're doing for. This was the most speedy presentation that I gave. We're doing it to keep people happy and to have a happy world around us. Thank you very much. In our language, Grand Tanyi.
Tanya, Grand Tanyi, as you say, thank you for interesting and really dynamic presentation. I know we had to rush you a bit. We have our translators that have to leave shortly. This has been really wonderful, and the transformation of the product, fantastic. With that said, let me thank the various presenters this morning. We want to move quickly to a Q&A session. I know that there have been a number of questions that have been placed in the chat. I'll ask my colleagues from COLEAD to assist me as well. But I'll move quickly and start with Hesma. Hesma, I know there was a question in the chat, whether you had an agent in Antigua and Barbuda, and someone also asked if you would be willing to share resources or information regarding where you source your bottles and pouches. So maybe I can start with you, Hesma, and if you can respond as quickly as possible.
Yeah, okay. And no, we don't have an agent in Antigua and Barbuda. So we welcome you reaching out to us. In terms of my ability to share my contact, to share any information at all concerning the packaging and the pouches, I'm always willing to help. Always willing to help. So just reach out to me. And I will probably type now my email address. So you can always contact me, anybody who's interested in reaching out to me. Because I believe mentorship is a light that can be illuminated for both the mentor and the mentee. So I don't hold back information. I'm not giving you the recipe, but anything else, I have no problem in giving it.
Thank you for that, Hesma. I know there's a question that was posed to Kamarsha, Onel, and Hesma in particular regarding environmental and carbon footprint issues. If you are interested in using biodegradable materials such as maize and sugarcane fiber, any feedback from any of you on this?
We have to look into that first before we decide to get into that, because there are specific things that our product have to be done. So if we go into that, it's research and development. So I don't want to tell you, yes, we're going to do it, but we're looking into it very much. So to keep the planet greener, we will be interested.
Thank you, Hesma. Onel, Kamarsha?
Oh, yes, my sentiments are the same, because I said, yes, we'd love to go in that direction, but depends on the availability and what is there, and what's there to be done. But there's something.
Kamarsha, any feedback there? And while you're on the floor, Kamarsha, I know someone asked, how do you tackle the plastic issue and how you can ensure the durability and shelf life of the product that you produce? Kamarsha?
Hi, so I definitely share the same sentiments as Onel and the other young lady, because sourcing the packaging material will always be an issue for people in the Caribbean due to our location, and as well because it in relation to quantity and price. Now, due to the fact that we are involved in food, we also have to ensure that the standards of the packaging will meet food requirements. Now, what was the other question?
The other question related to the plastic issue.
Well, it is our ambition to partner with other entities to raise an awareness of, no littering and taking care of our beaches and our waterways as well. You had one more question?
I think that was it. Tackling the plastic issue, and how do you determine the durability and shelf life of your product?
Oh, I determine it. Okay, so basically I have a raw product, which is sea moss, right? Now, due to the fact that it grows in the sea, and the stuff isn't rinsed off with any other chemical, then you have the sea salt being a natural preservative. So the sea salt is already a natural preservative. The sun is already, which is the heat from the sun is also another natural preservative. And one other method that we use airtight storage. So this ensures that it can stay as long as 5 years. But according to our labeling, we don't put it more than 2 years.
Thank you for that, Kamarsha. Let me throw this out to all the presenters. How do you test generally for the wholesomeness and the integrity of your product? Is it done through public or private facilities? If you can answer briefly, we'd appreciate that.
The integrity of the product is, what we do is that it's over time. You can do a lot, go to more established institutions, but we have left our product for a while, and we have seen how long, when it will begin to break down, after how many years, after how many months, those type of things. So we did our own in-house testing. But there are agencies out there like Caribbean who can do all of that for you.
Thank you, Hesma. The other presenters, quickly.
So for us, some things are being done in-house now, because we recently have our own small laboratory. So things like moist, etc., can be done in-house. But if you look at life extension, etc., those things are better being done in a laboratory that is certified.
Any other comments? Mm-hmm.
Well, with regards to ensuring that your product is of good quality, then in Dominica, you would have to go through the Dominica Bureau standards, where they test your product to see the water content, nutritional content, and basically spoilage, the shelf life. So, but as an entrepreneur, you also have the choice of observing your product. So you would know exactly when it's breaking down, because it can't be hidden. It's something you could see. So that basically it's just 2 years.
Thank you. Any quick comment from Sergio?
Mr. Allister, when it comes to us and dealing with honey, which is one of the commodities that is of key concern for us, we don't have the labs to do the test here in Belize. So we normally would do it in our neighboring country, Mexico, where they provide the service at a very cheap rate. So we normally would send our honey to be tested there to ensure the purity, to ensure there's no microbes in it, to ensure that the product is going to be last long. And then, of course, honey doesn't expire, right? So that's the beauty about it. But nonetheless, we have to guarantee the quality to the consumer.
Thank you for that, Sergio. I want to go to Mara. A question was posed to you, Mara. The regional standards, are they linked to international standards? And is there the option for you to set standards that are above the international standards?
Generally, standards are minimum requirements. Regionally, we do work with the international bodies. So we have CROSQ has membership, observer membership with a number of the international organizations such as the ISO. Within the region itself, though, each member state has membership in various international bodies. So what happens is, for example, let's say an ISO standard, we will use ISO as our base, and then we will, as member states, we have to adopt these standards. Standards are generally minimum requirements, okay? What I would advise is that the persons exporting would work with their importing country to know what extra is required. Okay, so what I provided in the presentation is like the bare minimum as to what would be required. And then you need to also work with your importing country to know if there is anything else that is required. Yes.
Thank you for that, Mara. In the interest of time, I'll move on quickly. Onel, do your products deserve more support from the authorities of the various countries that are affected by the losses and waste of agricultural raw materials, especially during large production periods? That was translated from French.
Okay. Well,
you may have to take off your video. We're not hearing you, Onel. You may have to take off your video.
30% low.
Okay, Onel, we're not hearing you. So can I ask you to respond in the chat? In the interest of time, if you can respond in the chat. And final question to the presenters. Can you tell us whether your products meet regional or international standards? National, regional, or international standards? If you can quickly just tell us that.
Under the 11th EDF, IICA provide assistance in GMP and HACCP. So we are on the way to dealing with that so that we can export to EU, right? Locally, we have many standards, and we have placed ourselves in a position whereby we are on track to get the HACCP certification. So I guess, yes, in a sense, we have done a lot of work to get ourselves placed in that position to be able to meet all these standards. In terms of the US FDA, yes, it wasn't exhausting, but it always
we have to actually wrap up the Hesma. We have to close off.
Right. So yes, yes.
So can I get two quick responses from the others? And please quickly, just two more responses.
Yes, Allister, we meet the EU standards. We are certified now, FSSC 22000, although it's a private standard, but still it's being used by the manufacturers in Europe. And yes, to be short, we meet the European standards. We meet international standards.
Kamarsha?
No, we haven't arrived yet.
Okay. Onel, any quick comment on your adherence to standards?
Okay, so fortunately, what we do as a small manufacturer, since we don't, so our products are manufactured in certified facilities. That is HACCP, FDA, local authority, Bureau Standard of Jamaica.
Yeah, thank you for that, Onel.
Cases. So I have the opportunity to work those manufacturing.
Thank you, Onel. Sergio, any final comment on your standards adherence?
Sure, Allister. Well, we have our standards. The Bureau of Standards here in Belize emphasizes certain standards we have to live up to. So nationally and regionally, we should be okay. But to go towards export markets beyond there, we will have to adjust as we go along.
Yeah, thank you for that. Colleagues, unfortunately, we have to close off the question and answer period. I will invite you to directly contact the presenters if you have any questions, queries, or comments for them. With that said, let me pass over to my colleague Isolina to conclude and wrap up. I want to put a plug in for the upcoming Caribbean Week of Agriculture from the 9th to the 13th of October. We'll continue discussing issues of standards at that forum, and COLEAD and IICA will continue through its trade facilitation program to continue supporting SMEs with respect to this issue of packaging and labeling. So please feel free to contact us. Over to you, Selina, for wrap up.
Thank you very much, Allister. I don't have very much to add. I think everything has been said. It was very, very interesting to see these different successes and how it entails, how difficult it is, but how easy, worth it is as well. I mean, it has been a fabulous packaging and labeling and so on. We will feature more of those. Of course, reach out to IICA, ourselves, and others, obviously, to help you, because as it has been mentioned many times, I mean, it's really very tough not to be supported. So I hope that we will continue to engage. And I have put as well in the chat the email you could reach us at, as well as for people in the audience, many participants from really incredible. I see Nepal, I see Georgia, I see far beyond even the regions we work in. Please send in to this email if you yourselves or good companies that have also achieved a great success, that we can feature them as well, and yourselves obviously if you are interested. And for any other suggestion on our work, any suggestion on topics, and we are very open in the way we work, so you are part of that community. From my side, that's it. Allister, thank you very much to you and your colleagues from IICA, who are behind the scenes, as in my side as well, behind the scenes and making this possible. Of course, to the interpreters, obviously, and to the IT support, Gaetan and others as well, for moderating the Zoom. You will all receive, and apologies if there are a few delays. It has been a bit of a holiday period. You will receive the presentations and the recording, of this session and any of the others we have done together. And we hope to see you for the next one. Thank you, Allister.
Isolina, can you quickly tell us the date and the next?
So the date of the next, Axel, you have it at hand. I don't have my agenda behind, but we will communicate perhaps in the next one. I had problems with my computer this morning and Axel yesterday, so I don't have the agenda, but we will put it in when we share this PowerPoint. But we have always exciting topics and always entrepreneurs to feature. So we have received many presenters, many suggestions for presenters from the participants, and we really will feature them depending on the topic. The next session, thank you, Axel, is 16th of November on the circular economy, how to reduce waste, food waste, recycling, and so on. So, very also close to this topic. There were many questions about the sustainability and so on. Here is how we contribute from IICA and ourselves, with others, of course. That's it from my side. Thank you very much. Allister, to you.
Bye-bye, everyone. Have a good weekend.